Hello, my name is Dan. My pronouns are he, him. I'm running a game for the Gauntlet called Rising Tide. This is actually a Paragon playset of my own design. It deals with the near future, immediate post ecological collapse, and our players are characters aboard a vessel that takes direct action to mete out eco justice. Uh, we have talked briefly about safety tools. We are using three safety tools, which I will describe now very quickly. The first is Open Table. You may get up and walk away at any time. You do not owe us an explanation. If you can set our expectations about when and if you are coming back, that's great. If I need to step away, frankly, you should just keep playing. But you can also give me about 10 minutes. If I don't come back after 10 minutes, you can assume I'm not coming back. That's Open Table. The next one is X Card. We're using a dice roller called rollwithme.xyz. Rollwithme.xyz has an X card built in. You can click the X card button. If you can't find it, you can just hold your hands up. You can say X card. If we approach a topic or go in a direction that you don't like, please shout out X card or click the button. We will stop and rewind and redirect. I've heard people use X card for everything from the name of an NPC to character backgrounds to all kinds of stuff. So please use that liberally if you are feeling uncomfortable. And then the last safety tool that we're using is Lines and Veils. We've got a safety and resources tab in our character keeper with various topics marked off. A line is a topic that we will not include in this game. A veil is a topic that we might mention, but we will not go into great detail. So all the action will happen off screen. We also have a couple of things marked Ask First. Ask First are topics where we will just ask the table quickly if it's okay that we go in that direction. Our players have access to all of those topics and have had a chance to review and add to them. Friends, are there any questions about any of the safety tools, or are there any others that you would like to add?
We're good.
All good. Fantastic. Well, why don't we do some intros, intro yourself, and then intro your character, and then we will dive in. I'm going to go in character keeper order. So Darren, can I ask you to go first?
Oh crap! Sorry, can't talk. Eating.
You're good.
Okay. Here we go.
I'll do it.
So I'm Darren, he, him, and I am playing Einar Nilsson, who is a ex-Norwegian Navy guy who was in the whaling industry for a few years until he kind of figured out how this isn't just another food animal. It's somewhat, whales are animals who are a lot more like us, and the process of capturing and killing them is kind of gross. So he had a mental breakdown and then joined, I can't forget the name of the organization. I'm sorry.
We haven't. I don't think we've named it yet.
Oh, no. I thought you did. I'm sorry.
No, we haven't.
So
maybe that's one of the first things that we'll do.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thank you, Darren. Matthew, you are next.
Today I'm playing Inga Muttaluk. She is a Malaysian woman who went to Scandinavia to study chemical engineering. She returned and tried to join the corporate sector, working for a large energy multinational. Over time, she realized that this energy multinational just was too in bed with the industrial military complex and all the corrupt institutions of the world to actually affect meaningful change in the energy sector. And she broke off and became a terrorist, an eco-terrorist, and now she's famous. She's known for extreme action. So that means doing things that have made her a fugitive from the law. Her face is recognized. Yeah, that's what I got.
That's awesome. Thank you, Matthew. Blake, you're up.
Hi, I'm Blake Him. I'm playing Magnus Berg Him. He's a former student, now navigation meteorology specialist. And he owes a lot of money to Apple for his awesome iPad, so he's got to pay us some debts.
That's great. That's really good. Thank you. And Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike. My pronouns are he, him. So I'm going to be playing Anna Lee, who uses she, her pronouns. Anna is she's formerly Anna's originally from Halifax, Canada, which is now a city that is completely underwater. She is in her she's in her early 30s. Let's see. I think she had gone to McGill University she'd gone to McGill University and majored in communications and journalism, and then worked in the advertising industry for a while. Specifically, she was working in the advertising arm of a major petrochemical company.
Nice.
And then realized that what she was selling was poison, left, and used her skills as a journalist and as an advertiser to completely switch sides, and started working for various environmental causes, until the point where she realized that, and she's still influencing, but she's now joined this organization, and is taking a role of basically a communications liaison, publicist, is like one of the public faces of this organization.
Yeah, I can totally see them sort of publicizing all the actions that they take.
And she's really good at putting a very even when our organization does questionable things, she's really good at putting a positive spin on it.
Love it. Yeah. Well, she can speak directly to the youngins, so I love it. What a great concept. Thank you. So let's kind of just lay out some basics around your organization. First, Darren, do you have any ideas for what we want to name the ship that you are on? What is the name of your organization's ship? Sorry, I had to ask you a name question, but here we are.
Oh no, that's fine. I hope this isn't too cheesy, but sort of in honor of Aegon, calling it the Aegis.
Oh, that's cool. And like you're protecting the Earth.
Oh yes,
sir.
That's cool.
I will resist acronyming it. I will resist it.
Do not resist, Matthew.
No, you got to do what you do, man.
That's why you're here. That's fantastic. The Aegis. I pronounce it Aegis. Aegis? Aegis?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm one of those slack-jawed Midwesterners who doesn't say stuff right.
No, we can just say it any way we want. I'm just
being a jackass.
All right.
But no, I don't pronounce things right sometimes.
I love that. That's what a great idea. And Matthew, what is do you have an idea for who the captain of this ship might be? Maybe start with nationality, or give them a name, or that kind of thing.
I think maybe the captain of this ship would be a former war hero. You know what I mean? Like someone who was served, and he is of either Arab or South Asian descent.
Like it.
I think I might lean towards Arabs, just so I can cast Farhan Tahir in a role.
I don't know who that is, but can you put their name?
He is the guy who played the captain who died in the opening of Star Trek 2009.
Whoa, that's a deep cut. Do you have an idea for a name? First name for this guy?
Let me conjure up a name in just a quick jiffy.
Okay. Blake, where do you think where's sort of your home waters? Like where does the Aegis kind of normally birth, or where do you kind of spend most of your time?
Mm. Um, I'm thinking outside Dublin, so
Love it.
Irish Sea.
Love it. Yeah. I mean, it's not as cold up there anymore, right? Because of global warming. So,
Hmm.
um,
And they go a lot further into England because a decent chunk of it's underwater now. So
yeah. I love that. That's great. Yeah, maybe our captain was educated in the UK. And Mike, what is one distinctive thing about the ship, or like what is one cool piece of tech, or maybe a decorative item, or like what is something distinctive about the Aegis?
I'm gonna say a selfish answer to help my character. It's got lightning fast satellite communications.
Okay.
So even if you're in the middle of this, even if you're at sea, we can still do we have like full I can't talk tonight. We have full spectrum broadband internet on the ship.
Um, I love that. And I think here's my idea to kind of build on something earlier, that maybe our captain, who was in the military somewhere, was a satellite officer, and so was sort of able to commandeer a satellite when things went really badly. And so that's why the ship is so well equipped with communications equipment. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
I have a question.
that sounds
Sorry.
great. Oh, I was just going to like build off of the satellite thing.
Yeah, go.
It's a geostationary satellite, which is why which is why our beat is in the North Atlantic.
Okay, nice.
I have a question. I just realized, in all these times that we've been playing, when we say ship, I assumed it was a marine vessel, but like, did you mean something more akin to like a multi-purpose vessel, like a low, like a small, recon version of a helicarrier, or one of those ships from XCOM?
I am open. Do you have something that you would like it to be?
All right, I'll leave the rest to define since I've had my fun in the past games.
Matthew, you've earned this. What do you want?
I mean, I was
Hey.
figuring this would be an ocean-going vessel, but
That's what I assumed, but
Yeah.
I'm okay with something different. I guess maybe do we want to suggest what
if we've got a helipad, that'd be cool.
um what did it used to be? Like what kind of I don't know anything about ocean-going vessels. All I know is like there are tankers, there are cargo ships, and there are military ships, and there are yachts that are mostly owned by Bezos. So
Yeah.
I like Mike's suggestion though. It's sort of like a decommissioned, naval carrier is very, very cool.
Oh yeah, I think the Russians have like a dedicated helicopter carrier. I'd have to look it up, but you know, they
Yeah, they're
offloading stuff during our time. So
I know that in like the real world, the Russians have a lot of, and like you said, Darren, the Russians have a lot of these. They're like dedicated submarine hunters, but you mainly use helicopters to hunt for submarines. So I'm thinking I'm thinking a former military, like a former military vessel that's still got a number of helicopters on it. It's also got really good sonar. Just a thought.
I like it. Anyone want to embellish this at all? All right. So Blake and Mike, since you haven't played Paragon system before, this style of play is very different from our usual fare. It's what I've been calling vignette based. So we describe a scene, we sort of say kind of who the bad guy is and what's happening in the scene, and then we talk about how each of you is going to handle the the conflict in the scene, and then I set a difficulty number, and then you just roll a bunch of dice. I will tell you how to. I'll walk you through how to put together your dice pool. You'll roll some dice. You'll add up the two highest values. So it's similar to, I think that's what Cortex does. And then you'll add up the two highest values. If you beat the difficulty number, then you succeed. If you don't beat the difficulty number, then you suffer. And then we kind of narrate how the scene plays out based on the outcomes of the rolls. And then we're done with that contest, is what I call them in Aegon, and we'll just move on. We then move on to the next scene. So there's not sort of lots of rules about, resolving things, and not each of you don't make separate rolls depending on sort of the different kinds of actions. Everyone just sort of puts together a pool for their character, rolls that pool, and then we see how it plays. Any questions about that so far? All right. It's a lot of fun. It's a little weird. And the dice rolls, since you're not used to putting together a pool, it can take a little while to do that. So just to set your expectations, we'll do a lot of narrating, and then we'll take like 15 minutes to figure out the pools. So we've got competing acronyms going. I love it. So I was going to use a scenario I wrote called Remove the Head. The CEO, and I'll read the premise, and then you guys let me know if you're okay with, just from a content perspective, okay with this. The CEO of an American oil company, Atlantico, is named Jeff Webb. He is flying in his private jet from Houston to Monaco. He is facing charges for violating international carbon laws. Additionally, there is evidence he committed fraud, inaccurately reporting carbon capture efforts. While the U.S. Justice Department indicates that they are actively trying to bring him in, it's clear that they are not acting with any urgency. So we are directly going after a CEO of an American oil company. Do we feel okay with that, or should I choose a different scenario?
Let's get
Oh,
the
good.
bastard.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. So he is flying over international waters. So your ship, the Aegis, is going to go intercept his. I'm glad you put helicopters now on your boat. You're going to go try and intercept him. So I'm going to ask you a few questions just to set up the premise. Let me first ask Darren, who helped you determine this guy Jeff Webb's flight plan?
Oh, I didn't hear the last part. Determined what?
Webb's flight plan. How did you figure out exactly where he was flying?
I think maybe a combination of our social media person and our meteorology navigation person.
Oh, okay.
Well, the meteorologists help predict a logical flight plan, and then maybe Anna did a deep dive on his posts on various things, and maybe could possibly even hack his email or something like that.
Oh, I thought we were talking about someone outside the crew, but you were informed. But you're saying that you all thought it was just totally fine. I like this even better. Blake, does that sound like something that Magnus would do? How does that?
Yeah, I can maybe through social media, and I can sort of figure out sort of where he's going, and based on that, I can sort of look at navigation and charts and go, okay, we need to be here. He's going to go this way at this speed, and yeah, we can reverse engineer his thing and then work out an intercept course.
Okay, perfect. And Anna, what did tracking him down on social media look like? Does this guy kind of flaunt things on social media, or did it take some doing?
So I'm thinking it's a combination of social media. He may have like mentioned something. It might be cool if like the Atlantic Oil Company, that was the oil company that I had worked for
Okay, perfect. That was one of the questions I was
And
gonna ask.
maybe when I left, you know, I think she's not like this. I don't think she's a computer genius.
Right.
Maybe when she left, you know, maybe when she left, she like somehow she like retained access to their computer system. She left a back door, or created a second account, or she's got a way to get into their computers.
She probably had friends. She probably had made a lot of friends at the company before she was sacked, right? So
Yep.
yeah. And I love that. And let's see, let me ask you one more question. Inga, I feel like maybe you might have met Jeff Webb before the crash, like before all of this happened, just in your work for another fossil fuel company. Do you remember under what circumstances might you have met Jeff Webb?
I think I would have met Jeff during a point in my career where I still had the pretense of wanting to climb up the corporate ladder. And so at that time, I would go to all the fancy, like, for-show, like, you know, dinners and parties and whatever. You know what I mean? The cocktail parties and all that stuff. So, you know, we were both in formal attire at that time, you know, just sort of like whining and dining, saying, hey, we did a new initiative. Let's celebrate with overpriced champagne or something like that, you know.
Awesome.
So he's seen me in a dress.
And which no one has since.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to pick a contest for us to do, and I'll start to kind of narrate a bit of the contest, and then we'll describe what each of your characters does. So your objective here really is just to get access to him, right? You know, you think, at least anyway, he's in this plane. So let's figure out kind of what that looks like. I'm wondering if I'm just looking at some of these ones that I've written. I'm wondering if you want to try and get on to the plane itself, and that, you know, given sort of the range of equipment and expertise that you have, that you all think your best bet is that he is on the plane, and you want to try and actually intercept the plane and get on the plane while it's flying. So you'll need some kind of special coupling mechanism to get onto the plane while it's in the air. Does that sound okay? Does that sound like something you all would try?
I just had an idea. I don't know if it's feasible. Maybe there's like a secret refueling thing, and he's in like a small plane that's only like 4-seater or something. But because of their background, they know where this thing is. So we're going to try and intercept the refueling on this, you know, platform that's just for that company.
I love that idea. It's like a refactored oil rig that they moved out into the middle of the ocean. All right, so this has now become a little bit of a, how are you going to get onto that that refueling platform, and into a position where you can capture Jeff Webb? So let's maybe describe. I think this is out in the middle of nowhere in the Atlantic Ocean. I think it's definitely minimally staffed, right? They don't really expect bad stuff to happen here, but there's definitely some bodyguard type folks who are on the plane with him and who are going to be there. It's got to have a little bit of a runway, I would assume, to allow a plane to land, unless there's some kind of new vertical technology.
Seaplane.
Or it's a seaplane.
And they can just pull up alongside and
yeah. All right. So there's something that allows the plane to land. You guys are not really sure how that works. And I don't know. I think maybe there's just enough security where there's definitely a tower, and they kind of sweep the waters around to make sure that no one's approaching.
Oh, geez, I guess I'm going for a halo then.
You're going for a what?
A halo, a high altitude, low orbit drop, low opening drop.
Is that enough of a premise? Does anyone want to add any details?
And I was thinking, just thinking we were going to take one of our helicopters.
No, I think there's like enough firepower on this thing where maybe just flying a helicopter over wouldn't be.
Wouldn't be so good. Okay.
I
We could
Um,
do the
well,
full pelt in the boat and then turn the engines off so it just quietly drifts in, and then we take a quiet dinghy or something.
What you mean you don't all want to go base jumping together?
yeah, I was
No.
thinking maybe like the one of the helicopters could drop us over the horizon, and we could go in with like maybe like a small hydrofoil craft or like
Oh, a
a
hydrofoil.
mini
Ooh,
sub.
High speed.
or-
Ooh, a high speed hydrofoil. That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
yeah.
Sold. That sounds good.
Sorry.
So what we'll
I
do
just want to say to the internet influencer over here, this is gonna get some massive views.
Oh yeah.
so many likes. So
I changed her description to publicist, but that's still the same thing.
yeah, I mean, in the 21st century, what's the difference? So you'll each describe what your character is doing here. You don't have to go with them, right? You don't have to go. You can maybe stay back on the Aegis and play a role there, but everyone's going to do something to try and help achieve this objective. I'll do character keeper order. So again, we're just narrating what exactly we're doing. And just so you know, so again, Mike and Blake, for your reference, the way this game works is the GM defines which domain we're using. So we've got those 4 domains, lines 10 through 13. I will call which domain we're using. And you'll have an opportunity to add more dice to the pool. But I'm thinking that this is, I'm going to call this a support and logistics role contest, because it's much more about, you're not really setting out to hurt anyone. You're just trying to use the equipment that you have to get safely aboard this thing. So we're not building pools yet. I just kind of want to hear, Darren, why don't you walk us through what is Einar's role? What is Einar doing in this scene?
I think his logistics role would be like discussing objectives and tactics with
Okay.
whoever the strike team is, and well, and of course the crew of the Aegis. And yeah, just kind of like taking what he knows about the structure and what the best angles of attack would be, and what weaponry would be the best, etc.
Okay.
And also, I just like clarifying, like, do we want to embarrass this guy? Do we want to blow him to smithereens? You know,
I don't know. You should all talk about it. What do you want to do? Once you capture Webb, what does the crew want to do? What does that sound like?
Sorry.
I was going to say, one of you knew him, so Inga. Would this guy have information? Is he a useful information source, or is he not? Is he just sign checks and not really paying attention? Or
Mm, he's mostly a check signer, but this is a guy who probably keeps on his person like important contact information on some of the like the not entirely, but sort of like shadow players within the broader like energy coalition.
so we could embarrass him, take a copy of his phone contacts and stuff, sort of thing,
Yeah.
because that'll be the more useful goal.
Well, personally for me, I would just try to send a message, whether or not it involves executing him. Take his phone and send it to our engineers for decrypting and data prying.
Can I make a suggestion of what this guy might know?
Yeah.
Sure.
All of this corporation's account numbers. So like, if we get access to that, we could conceivably raid their coffers and like transfer huge amounts of money into just transfer huge amounts of money into like a Swiss bank account that our organization owns.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's about money for the cause, not let's get rich sort of thing. What you're talking about.
And also we want to, and also the other angle that I think Anna wants to do is just like really publicly embarrass him and like confront him with all of this, like maybe confront him with clear as day proof that he lied through his teeth at the congressional hearings.
Right. Yeah, good.
And then we cut off his head. We have to send a message to these people. You know, I do not deny the value of information being power, and I do not deny the value of revealing the monsters for who they are. You know, but
We can do
at
that
the end of the day,
last, though.
Well, I mean, if he happened to end up attempting to take a long swim to land from the middle of the North Atlantic, well, things happen, but I am not broadcasting a public execution.
We'll discuss this further later.
Darren, is Einar going on to this oil rig, or are you staying behind to direct operations?
I can do either. I was thinking maybe we need like some stuff like beanbag rounds or tranquilizers if we're gonna bag him and grab him.
So you're as the person probably best equipped to shoot things. You are going to go with.
I think Inga is better at the actual violence part. But I'm more of the I'm better at tactics. But I think from what I've seen, Inga is probably our best commando.
Okay. All right. So you're kind of briefing everyone on, and you're the one who's kind of dealing with how's this operation going to go down, right? So you're the one making the plans. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sorry if I wasn't clear.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Inga, what are you doing on this operation?
You mean in regards to getting on the rig?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I did suggest the halo drop. I might do it. I might just do it. Yeah, let's just do that.
All right. So we've got another crew member who's going to fly the helicopter for you, like a supporting a red shirt is going to fly the helicopter for you.
Yeah, I don't know how high a helicopter can take us, but let's just say we called it a favor, I think, to get like maybe an old military contract to drop us. Yeah, you know what? One of Captain Bashir's old military contacts agreed to drop us that high for a stealth approach.
Love it. Cannot wait to see that on screen. Magnus, what do
Just
you?
so you know, I did look up the dangers of a halo drop in case
Because you don't roll so good.
Yeah.
I think I'm watching a bunch of screens with, the weather and radar and everything, and watching everybody's cam. So I'm just kind of on Overwatch, keeping track of everything while it's happening.
Love it. So you're the guy in the chair, basically.
Yep.
You're kind of keeping an eye on everything.
I would be the guy in the van if this was on land.
Right. And I wonder if maybe you are able to hack into some of the, using your super duper satellite stuff, hack into some of the systems on board the rig.
Yeah, maybe they need to whack something on one of the communication pylons or whatever, and then I can access that.
Yeah. All right. But generally, you're staying behind on the ship. Love it. And Mike, tell us about what Anna's doing.
Anna's on the speedboat. She's the embedded journalist. She's recording everything that's going on, and I'm thinking she's recording it, and she's also live streaming this. So the world is watching.
Yes, I love that. The Aegis has social media accounts, and people tune in and watch, right? They want to know what's happening. How's the Aegis protecting their world? So is Anna anonymous on this, or does she cover her face, or is she?
I think she's going to cover her face. I think she's wearing a balaclava because she is actually famous, which could be a problem.
Right.
But I think she's going to be wearing a balaclava on this.
Is this slightly in the future? You could have a script that runs, it always changes your eye color every shot.
Oh, nice. Using those newfangled TikTok filters to change her appearance.
Yeah, I was thinking of like the balaclava and like a Hello Kitty filter, but maybe that's too.
But yeah, she is actually. I think she is actually wearing a ski mask for this.
Okay.
But I mean, she's the one who's broadcasting, so people could probably put two and two together.
Right. But she has maybe plausible deniability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If she gets picked up by their cameras, she can claim she wasn't there.
So we're gonna do. So we'll put our pools together. One of the differences that from my game from the Paragon system is that you can activate your complication to allow me to add a die to my pool. So when the GM rolls, I'm rolling for a difficulty level. If your complication comes into play to make things more challenging for you, then I get to add a die to my pool, but you earn duty here. So let me just pull up my PDF just to remind myself. Yes, so you can give yourself 2, 4, or 6 duty to let me add a D8, a D10, or a D12 to the pool. My suggestion, maybe since Mike and Blake, this is your first roll, maybe we don't do that because, or maybe you just go with it, whatever you want to do. Magnus, I'm not sure I see how in debt adds to the complication, but adds to the situation, but maybe you got an idea. Anna, I can definitely see how being famous might make this a little bit more complicated for you. Mike, do you want to?
I'm going to say, Leah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and add. Let's go ahead and add. So I get that this adds a die to your pool.
Right.
But how does that work again?
So the line 3 is your duty, and these are the points that you're going to accumulate over the course of the rolls. If we were playing a long game, this kind of would get up to 40, 80, 120 points, right? This sort of accumulates over time. So in order for you to activate your complication, you can add 2 points to your duty right now. So in essence, this game is a little bit competitive because you're all trying to compete for more duty. And now, Mike, by adding 2 duty, you're kind of ahead of the game.
Sure, I'll do that. And what does that add to and what die does that add to your pool?
A D8, so the lowest possible die.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. So I can go ahead and just add 2 to my duty.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we should, depending on kind of how things shake out, we should integrate your fame into the outcome. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to roll. I was already going to roll 2d8 to determine the difficulty level. I've now added a third d8. I'm going to pick the highest one of these and add 5. It is just how this game works. I don't entirely understand it, but or agree with it. All right, so my highest is a 7, which means that the number you are trying to beat is a 12. Now, why don't we go step by step through? The way we've been doing this is walking through, pulling together the pool. You can click the dice in the dice roller, but then don't click roll. So I want to make sure everyone has a chance to kind of hear how everyone is putting together their pool before they roll. Because again, there's a competitive element. You may want to make a change based on what you hear someone else doing. Whoever rolls highest wins the most, right? Whoever rolls highest will win 12 points because that's the difficulty level. Normally I take a break. I'm sorry?
Am I looking at this right? Difficulty level 17?
No, it's 12.
Thank God, I was gonna fall over.
Dan, I'm sorry. I think I don't see the link for the dice roller, and I don't have it from before. I'm sorry.
No worries. I have
If you
just
ha-
posted it.
I was going
in-
to say, if you haven't cleared out your browser cache, I've already memorized it as treated situation wave game late mathematics.
We've played once or twice. So here we go. So Darren, you want to walk us through putting together a dice pool? Or do you want me?
Yeah, so I'm thinking, D6 for, let's see, what is it called in this version? Roll. And a D8 for the stat, support and logistics. Let's see. And I think I could spend a stress to throw in combat and tactics. So that would be 2d6 and 2d8.
I got one D8. Where's your other D8?
Oh yeah, 2d6 and 1d8.
Yeah, nice try though.
Oh no, I thought I said it right. I'm sorry.
You're fine. So other options that you have, you can spend a value or an expertise to add a D4 to the pool. You can use your asset, though I don't know how Whaler's Handbook is going to help you out here.
Oh yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'll throw in a military expertise.
Okay, so that gives you a D4.
And that should be that.
Yeah, we did not do bonds, but if you want to mark a bond to add someone else's die, you are welcome to.
Oh, okay. Oops. Oh yeah, now I see that on there. I forgot about that. Okay.
No worries.
I'll hold off for now.
Okay. All right. So, Matthew, you want me to walk you
Yes.
through where you got it?
All right, so I'm looking at invoking the, I guess, the operative the operative die, but not the engineer die.
Okay.
And then I'm torn between whether it is support and logistic or combat and tactics. I feel like it's combat and tactics.
Well, I called it as support and logistics.
All right, no problem. So 2d6, and then for the expertise, I'm going to call in survival for this one because of the breathing techniques required to get through a halo jump.
Yep. So you get a D4.
All right, 2d6 plus 1d4. And I think I'll add stress to invoke a, well, they're all d6s, but you know, it's still important to think about.
No,
Let's
you
see.
can add combat and tactics.
Oh yeah, that's right. So 2d6, 1d8, 1d4.
Yep.
Right.
All right. So Blake, let me walk you through this. Basically, everyone always adds their name die, or what's called the name die in Aegon, what we call roll die here. So you get a D6.
Yep.
If your background is relevant, you can add another D6. Do you have a justification for student?
Well, I mean, the student was what my job actually is, so that's how I learned those skills.
I'm good with that. That's another D6. So now, because this is support and logistics, you'll add a D6.
Yep.
And now you have some choices to make. You can spend a value or an expertise to add a D4 to the pool. The D4 always gets added no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
I'm thinking survival because, you know, you've got someone on a boat, someone doing a halo. I'm watching the maps. There's a lot of ways this could go wrong. So
Yep.
it's, yeah.
So you can spend that, yeah, you basically unmark survival.
Yep.
The gray box to add a D4. And now, two other choices you can make. We didn't say bonds, but you can just mark a bond if you want to add, if you're supporting someone else, or if you're sort of using your bond with someone else, you can add their roll die.
I was just going to say stress because there's a lot of shit happening. So I'm like,
Right. Well,
it's,
and if you mark stress, You can add another domain. So, you could, and so normally you would add your D8 to that, right? So you could mark stress to add a D8. So I'm counting 3d6 and 1d8 and a d4.
Yes, that sounds right. Yep.
And Mike, you want me to walk you through, or have you been able to follow along? You're muted.
Unmute. Okay, there we go. Yeah, if you would walk me through it, I'm not
Sure.
quite sure I have this.
Yeah. I tried to design the character keeper to make it a little bit more orderly. The character sheets in these games are terrible. They do not walk you through this at all. And this is literally the only thing a player has to do. All right, so we always add your roll die. So you'll get a d6 for that. Can you justify your background as a refugee?
Well, yeah. Yeah, she's like it's the reason she's on this this entire mission is that her hometown is now 20 feet underwater.
Yes.
And she is really angry at these petrochemicals for not stopping global warming when it was possible.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, there's sort of the irony too of she used to work for this guy's company. So
yep.
I've declared it is a support and logistics contest. So you're adding another d6.
Okay.
And now you've got choices to make. You can spend a value or an expertise to add a d4.
I think I am going to spend. Yeah, I think I will spend. I think I'll spend my computer expertise on this. So I unmark that.
Yes.
So I get a d4.
Yep. And then the last choice you can make is whether to mark a bond to add another d6 or a stress to add a d8.
I'm going to go ahead and mark a stress to add my politics and communication on this.
You got it.
So that adds a d8.
Yep.
So it looks like I've got 3d6, 1d8, 1d4.
Yeah. All of that effort, that is almost always the dice pool that we end up with. Another thing that bothers me about this game is it's almost always, at least in these early stages, 3d6, a d8, and a d4. But here we are, we did it. So unless anyone wants to make any changes to their pool based on that, we will now go down the line and click roll. You have to beat so you will add up your two highest dice plus the d4. You have to beat a 12. Whoever rolls highest gets the most duty points at the end. So we'll go in character keeper order again, and then we will take our break. Thanks for going a little long in our first session here. So Darren, you want to hit roll?
Sure.
You
Squeaked
did
it out.
Nice. So Darren's rolled a 4, 5, and 6. We're going to add up the 5 and the 6 on his d6s and d8s. 5 and 6. That's 11, and then the d4 we always add, so that's 12. Perfect.
Nice.
Matthew. Matthew did not squeak it out. He rolled a 4 and a 5, where his two highest, plus the d4 is 10.
Dang.
I cannot wait to hear what happens to Inga. Blake, you're next. You want to hit roll?
Okay, so 17.
Well, we add up the two highest, so you rolled a 5 and 6, and then we always add the d4, so that's 13. So right now you are in the lead, and Mike, you're up. Whoa!
Ooh,
you rolled an 8.
I rolled an 8 on my d8 and a 5 on a d6 and a 1 on my d4.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you are, that's 14, right?
Yes, 8
Here
and
we
6
go.
is 14.
So here's my suggestion. We've now resolved the roles. Let's take our break. I can use a refill on water, and then we'll come back and we'll narrate this scene. So
Okay.
I've got 16 past the hour. Let's take 10 minutes. I'll see you at 26 past the hour.
Okay, 20 past. See you then.
Thank you, Zoom lady. So the way this works is whoever rolled lowest will narrate first, and then we kind of work our way up. So whoever rolled highest gets to narrate last. But let's do the mechanical thing first, where we dole out points. So because Mike, you rolled highest, you get all 12 points. That's how that
Ooh.
works, because the difficulty level was 12. So you can add 12 to your duty. Darren and Blake, because you beat the score but weren't the highest, you get to add 6, half of 12, to your duty. Inga, since you did not beat it, you get to add 1 to your duty. And yeah, and now we're done with the mechanical part of all that. Again, if we were playing a longer game, something interesting happens at 40. So, oh no, excuse me, at 80. So you can see sort of you need to play set like probably a couple islands really to get that far, a couple missions. All right, so Matthew, you're up. How does suffer here?
Okay, so during the Halo drop, I think so what happens to Inga is that she sort of has a little bit of anxiety all of a sudden, just like you know how you have unrelated memories just flutter to the surface in the middle of doing something, and it just I guess they call those panic attacks, don't they? Yeah. And she tries to suppress it. So, but when she does and she jumps, she sort of like loses the rhythm of her breathing, and that causes the oxygen in the balance of oxygen in her lungs to just sort of like go off. Now, if I understand the mechanics of the narration, like relationship correctly, I think what will happen is that she does still regain consciousness, all the way, all 25,000 feet on the way back to where the rig is, but maybe a little too late, such that when she deploys her chute, she sort of like just lands on her shoulder or on her arm and sort of bounces and rolls off the rig. And before she can catch herself in one hand and just sort of like scramble herself over, like Child Kirk jumping from a moving Cadillac.
I like that. So I sense that she's not able to sort of play a role in apprehending Webb then, like, because she's a bit shaken. She's hanging off the rig now. Did I get that right?
If you think that's how the fiction or the game works, I mean, personally, I would still love to play a role, but I don't know like how the game balance works.
Okay, let's see how what happens with the others, and then we'll.
Sure.
So, my hope for this contest is that you are all sort of like with Webb by the end of this, and that now the next contest will be kind of getting him back to the Aegis or whatever you want to do with him. So, hang on, let me just look who rolled. Darren, I think you are next. Tell us about what Einar did here.
I think he squeaked it out because he was not familiar with Halo drops, but had good ideas for the fundamental tactics of a grab mission. Like, he tells people to bring some baton rounds and some tasers and flashbang grenades and stuff, and just how to move quickly to make sure they get the asset before he's gone. I assume he probably has some way to get out of there quickly, but maybe that's disabled, like, like his plane is disabled before anything else, so he can't get away, etc.
Okay, I like that. So you were able to get aboard and do something to make it hard for the plane to take off again. Did I get that right?
Oh yeah, maybe even just some armor-piercing rounds through the engine or something.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the plane lands and Einar just goes. Love it. That's great. Blake, you are next. Tell us about Magnus.
Yeah, I think I'm sort of watching everything on the screens. I can see sort of Inga isn't in the position sort of we need her in. Is there other people going in, or is it just these two?
And Anna is heading over there in a boat. So.
Yep.
I
Okay.
thought maybe we had a couple of red shirts or something too.
Yeah, you've got crew. So.
All right, so we get the red shirts to sort of drop some flashbangs and maybe some smoke grenades, and I'll hopefully advise Anna to sort of go around so that she can, as the guy we're after is retreating to the plane, get Anna to sort of meet him there, cut him off.
Nice. That sounds great. So Anna, bring us home.
So Anna does just that. Our speedboat comes up and like pulls alongside the docking platform, and she's like first off the boat, scrambles up the gangway, while the red shirts are like throwing the flashbangs, and it's just like total chaos because they were totally not expecting it. She sneaks around to where the plane was docking, and as their people are trying to hustle Webb back into his plane, she cuts them off. Camera in his face, like, so Mr. Webb, so Mr. Webb, you have some things to answer. You have things to answer for. Nice.
All right. So you are all now confronting Webb. What is it? I'm trying to think what the contest might be. Is it to get him back to the Aegis to kind of shake him down for this information that you want? Do you feel like that interrogation is going to happen here? I also worry that maybe some of you don't want to leave him here because he won't face justice here.
I'm thinking we want to bring him back to the Aegis, get the information we can out of him, and then bring him to maybe another country who we trust will, bring him to another country that will bring the hammer of justice down on him harder than the U.S. will.
Okay.
Maybe part of the danger is we also got to get him away because they're going to request radio for help or whatever.
Right.
So we've got to. One of the dangers is getting away.
Yeah, I think that's
quickly.
I think that's the next contest. He's got a bodyguard security force who's now emerging off the plane as well, and they are coming after Anna because she's got a camera in his face, so I think the contest here is to extract Webb from here and get him somehow to the Aegis. Is your inclination to get him onto Anna's little kind of dinghy boat or whatever boat that Anna you brought over here? I think there's also a speedboat tied up to the rig, so I can see you maybe stealing the speedboat, that kind of thing.
I was thinking that the boat that Anna came up on and probably was piloted by one of our people, because I thought we talked that it was this like high-speed hydrofoil.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so you're going to try and get him onto that.
So it's going to be fast. So it's going to be faster than a standard speedboat.
Okay. All right, great. So
we want to get it back on. Yeah, so we want to get him back onto that, onto our boat, and then hightail it out of there back to the agents.
Okay, that sounds great. He's got a security team who is now kind of descending on him and trying to hold him or trying to protect him. And I think I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I wonder if there's just sort of some, the skeleton crew that's on this rig is trying to pull your. I don't know what a hydrofoil looks like. I mean, is it like big or is it sort of dinghy sized or?
Oh, I put a
Um,
picture into chat.
Oh, you did?
Well, I mean, but also please use your creativity. I'm sorry.
No. I'm curious.
Sorry, Mike. I think I cut you off.
Oh,
no, that was cool.
is it like? Is it this thing? That's awesome.
I'm actually looking for your. Oh, there we are. Come on, why won't it open? So I'm just trying to look at the picture here.
Oh,
right.
sorry. Maybe I didn't do it correctly.
I think it disappeared from the message history.
Here, wait. I can share my screen.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I was thinking.
Love it. So let's say there is his crew from the rig have now climbed down onto the hydrofoil and are trying to commandeer it. So that's where we're at. So we're going to do the same thing that we just did. We'll narrate our what we're doing in this scene. I will roll difficulty, and then we will roll for the contest. And then I think it will be my bedtime. So we'll do one more contest and then do stars and wishes. Does that sound okay to you all?
Me.
Fantastic. So I'll go now in reverse character keeper order. So Mike, why don't you tell us what Anna's up to here?
Okay, so Anna's got her camera in Webb's face and is kind of like monologue, is like just peppering him with questions that are making him and his company look really bad, which he's also interspersing with. And we are live on the internet. We've got, and we're live on the internet. We've got 75,000 viewers right now watching us apprehend international ecological terrorist, international ecological war criminal.
Love it.
And like, oh, and his goons are going to try to shoot me. Am I going to get murdered on the internet? Well, Webb, that would certainly add to your crimes. And as she's doing this, she's basically trying to like step in front of him and to try to get him away from his people. But talking a mile a minute and trying to, basically draw attention to herself, but at the same time draw attention to the fact that there's a lot of people watching this action right now.
Yeah, love it. That's great. Magnus, you're up.
I guess I'd be saying, Inga and the names of the red shirts, help Anna. She's facing opposition. You got to get back. You got to get on the hydrofoil and get out of there before they radio back up. And I'm watching the radar to make sure there's not something already on the way.
May I suggest something for Magnus?
Shoot.
I wonder if the hydrofoil is equipped with kind of a remote control that you
like a drone or something. Yeah.
Like control so that you can prevent this crew from disabling it or something like that. Does that sound?
Yeah, and I can be working to disable their disable.
Right.
Just like ECM and ECCCM and so
while
on.
While they're trying to hack in, you're trying to prevent them from hacking in.
Yep. Okay.
Inga, you're up.
What I want to do is to kick Webb in the back of his knee to subjugate him, grab him, and jump into the remote operated hydrofoil.
How are you? What does it look like when you're trying to get through the goons?
I think that's definitely a fisticuffs maneuver, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
And Darren, tell us about Einar here.
So his idea is he's gonna get on the radio channel and tell everyone you have to get down when I say get down. And he's gonna try and use flashbangs to disable flashbangs and baton rounds to kind of get rid of the security team. He's also going to do a kind of a rear guard on the getaway by stealing their boat
Okay.
and taking off, possibly scuttling it and getting on the hydrofoil if he has to.
All right. I feel like our chamber game ended with your character doing something with flashbangs.
Oh, I think. Oh well, his gun detonated because all the electricity in the air.
Awesome. A lot of people getting blinded in our games. It's okay. It's fine. I love it. All right. So does anyone want to activate any of their complications? So earn a bit of duty. Earn a bit of duty, and let me add a die to my pool.
I was thinking maybe Einar is kind of thinking about his past because these are kind of like roughneck men of the sea. Like he saw a lot of them in his old career.
All right, you can add 2, 4, or 6 duty. Is this like a big flashback, or just kind of momentary pause?
I'm thinking about like a medium-sized duty. Like he's kind of having like flashes in between doing stuff in his his scene.
All right, so you take 4, and I add a D10.
Oh God. Okay, I'm sorry, everyone.
Does anyone else want to activate their complication?
Why not? Let's do it. All right. So here's my proposal. As an international fugitive, I'm going to say that the corporation that Webb works for, I'm not even sure what the name of the corporation was. I think you said it and I didn't catch it. And if you did not, I will make it up.
Atlantico.
Atlantico. All right. Atlantico has decided to take extra precautions to protect Webb. Not crazy. It's not like an army or anything like that. They just got one specialist, and he's a bounty hunter by the name of Nwabudike Armstrong.
So good.
And so Nwabudike Armstrong is just like, that is the fugitive Ingham McCulloch. And so they're not just here to protect their boss, they're here to collect a fast pay. Be extra motivated.
That is so great. I was going for something simpler, just simply that whatever kind of head covering that you had been pulled off in the drop, and now we've got Anna kind of filming a wanted fugitive and putting that on the internet. But both of those things could be true if you were. So how big a complication is this? Is this a D8, a D10, or a D12 that I get to add to my pool?
I just want to say I support your interpretation because true to Hollywood form, the moment the Halo drop is completed, albeit poorly, it is the obligation of the performer to remove their helmet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think this is a D10.
I mean, that's how you can tell that the actor has taken over from their stunt double.
Exactly. But except for Tom Cruise, apparently.
Okay. All right. So you are going to take 4 duty, and I'm going to add another D10 to my pool.
Why did I do this?
I'm really happy. Thank you for testing this out, this mechanic, because this is the part that I made up, and I'm really excited that it's kind of working interestingly. Magnus, Anna, you want to make things even worse, or are you good?
I think I'm good for now.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to roll 2d8 for the security team, and then the 2d10 that you all let me add. I'm going to take the highest die, gentlemen. I rolled a 10, one of those D10s. So you are trying to beat a 15. So just to go back in reverse character keeper order again, Mike, you're putting together a pool to try and beat a 15. This is our last roll. You might as well go all out. So whatever you need to do.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so let's see here. So I get the D6 for my roll. I think my D6 as a refugee is still coming because part of what I'm peppering at is accusations of how Atlantico destroyed the city of Halifax.
Yes. Yeah. This guy is your trauma, basically. Yes, totally. Oh, I didn't say what kind of domain this is. I think just given the nature of it, this is combat and tactics. So
That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah.
Because I got two dice from there. I'm gonna get another 6 from combat and tactics.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
So now you can spend one of your values or expertise to add a D4 to the pool.
Got it. I'm gonna spend a D. I'm gonna spend. I'm going to spend one from. I'm going to spend my value freedom.
Yes.
D4.
Yeah, that totally works. And then one more choice you can make is you can mark a stress to add your politics and communication D8.
I am 100% doing that.
Yeah.
It's possible to spend more than one stress to do something else, or nope, just the one. Okay.
The other thing you could do is mark a bond to add a D6. So you can rev, which you might as well do.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about
bond.
Yeah, so you've got,
so I'm going to add another D6.
Yeah, I see 4D6, a D8, and a D4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay.
Cool. All right, Stan, sit tight. Magnus. You get a D6 for your roll.
Yep.
A D6 for your student. We talked about that before.
Okay.
Combat and tactics gives you another D6.
Is it though? Because I'm kind of counter hacking. I'm not actually in the fight, so to speak.
Yeah. So the way this game works is I determine which of the domains is activated. Okay. You can spend stress to add another domain.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. So yeah, so the choices that you can make now are spend a value or expertise to add a D4, which you will definitely want to do.
So it's got to be one of the ones I'm trained in, or
it could be any one of the gray ones.
Knowledge. Yeah, I'm gonna spend knowledge instead.
Yeah, that works. So right now I've got 1, 2, 3 D6. You spent a stress to add a D8. So I got a 3D6 and a D8 and a D4.
Yep.
And then you can mark a bond to add another D6.
No, that's good. I got a good pool, I think.
All right. Matthew, I can see you've been marking things, so I sense you've got your pool together. You're muted.
There we go. Yeah, so I'd say if I interpret this correctly, it is a 1d8 for the combat and tactics, 1d6 for the operative die, 1d4 for, I would argue, a spend on justice, and then I will spend also a bond that is an additional, what is it again? Bond is
D6.
Okay, it's a D6. So 1d8, 3d6 plus 1d4.
Perfect.
And I'm trying to figure out whether I can make the case for engineering or leadership.
Well, you've already spent one. You can only add one D4 to your pool. So you've
Oh,
done
okay.
everything that you can. Yeah.
So I'm capped out basically.
You are, yeah. The only other thing, no. Well, if I don't know, your asset is now the letter M. So if you can
Why
figure
is
out
my
how to use your asset, um,
Oh,
actually,
it was an Omni tool taken from one of our other inspired by
yeah.
one of our other players. So I'll say the Omni tool can serve as an improvised sort of like reverse grapnel to allow me to land in the ship.
So rules is written. I need to change this, but rules is written. You can use that to add a D8.
All right.
And actually, Mike, now that I'm looking at it, and Blake, if you guys want to mark your assets, that will let you add a D8 to your pool, which, given that you're trying to hit a 15, is a good thing. Though, Einar, I'm not sure how the Whalers Handbook fits in this, but
Oh no, yeah,
we'll find
yeah,
a contest. We will find a contest where you can
Is it thick and he can just bash someone in the head with it?
maybe.
wing it at them. Darren, you want to walk us through your pool?
Sure. So I've got what's it called? My roll. So that's a D6. Combat and tactics is a D6. And I'm gonna spend a stress to add my logistics and support die.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna take off a military check for trained and oh wait, do you remove the blue checks or just the
Just the gray.
okay. Wow, maybe I can't. I don't know if I can justify computers or survival.
Survival feels okay to me.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then yeah, bond with Anna. Just because he really likes the idea of this broadcast and wants it to succeed.
Nice.
So let's see, that is 1, 2, 3d6, 1d8, and 1d4.
All right. We'll now just go back down the line. So Darren, if you want to hit roll first.
Wow. I got an 11.
Yep. Matthew.
All right, let's go. That is a
You did it.
7,
Oh, 14.
14. Did not make it.
Nope. Trying to be the 15. So close though.
Oh, Dan. Like I'll tell you this. My memory is clear enough to tell you that I think this is the 4th or 5th roll in the past 2 sessions where it's literally 1 point away.
Yeah. Seems very typical on this game.
Not 2, not 3, always 1. Like what is that? Guys trying to tease me? Guys trying to mock me?
Yeah, that's the Matthew special. Blake, you want to hit roll? Oh, look at that
So-
D4 helping you out. You did it.
15.
Holy
I think it's got.
smokes!
Those D4s can really make or break.
I'm bringing physical dice in the next
All right.
session. I swear to God.
Mike, bring us in. I've not seen so many ones. Yeah, I'm counting 12. So
Look at all those ones. That's a 12.
yeah. So one of you did succeed. So generally speaking, this went your way. But the rest of you, but for those who did not succeed, you in Aegon language, this is you suffer. So the idea is not so much like you have failed and the mission is over, but you didn't do quite as well as you should have. If we were playing a longer game, I might have you mark stress for this kind of thing. In Aegon, some of the contests require that you spend what I'm calling expertise here, even before you go into the contest. So sometimes you are ticking those off even before you can roll. But anyway, so why don't we let me just dole out duty just to get that part done. So basically Darren, Matthew, and Mike each get one duty. And
Should Ingers be 4 or higher because they invoke
yes,
the complication?
yeah, Inga, you should have a 5 in your duty right now. And then you're adding another 1, so you should be at 6. And then Blake, since you hit that 15, you get all 15 points. So that'll bring you to 21. So let's narrate.
But that's not a resource. I can't spend that to do anything or.
No, what, just as an aside, when you get to 80, your name die, or in this case, your roll die, goes up to a D8. So that's the only way to increase your this line 6 die. The line 7 die, the epithet in the Aegon, is an advance that you get by marking fate, which I have as dedication down here. So there's sort of lots of different ways that different things advance. It's actually maybe one of my critiques of the game. So whoever rolled lowest narrates first. Darren, that's you. What could go wrong with a flashbang, I wonder?
Oh yeah, no. So he hard fails on trying to coordinate the flashbang attack, and ends up take like a couple of red shirts get disabled by that, and his attempt to steal the speedboat goes poorly, and he takes some fire and slows down the escape of the hydrofoil because he needs to get out of the speedboat.
Right.
Um,
Wait for me. Yes.
and takes some minor damage. I'm trying to think of what these guys might be armed with, like submachine guns or something.
Right.
And yeah, it's just overall was just too distracted by thinking about his past and how some of these people reminded him of past crew.
Good. I like it.
Also, I'm sorry for adding that D10, guys.
It's the way the game is played. Mike, you're next. You rolled a 12. How does this not quite go Anna's way?
So as Anna is got her camera on him and is peppering him with questions, she doesn't notice like 2 of the bodyguards sneaks behind her, puts his hand like on the lens of the camera and like basically wrenches it away from her. It's still going though, and so it's kind of like going. It's kind of going wildly, and there's also a bit of a struggle. One of the other bodyguards kind of grabs her from behind, pulls her balaclava off, and so on her broadcast, she gets this camera's kind of like swinging around wildly because it's in possession of one of the bodyguards, but it gets a look at her face. She's able to like break away, get her camera back, but she wasn't expecting this to happen, so she's now very flustered. But at the same time, she's but with all these grenades going off, she's still able to try to so it didn't go nearly as well as she hoped, but
right.
It looks like we're still going to be mostly successful.
Right. Do you think what occurred to me as you were talking is that maybe Webb actually has really good answers? Like this is not his first
I like
rodeo.
that. Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So it's not like yeah, you Anna are not prepared for a military style operation. That makes sense. And it turns out Webb is pretty good at his job. So he's able to sort of pull off an interview from an aggressive young reporter type. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I like that. His answers are Yeah, I like that. His answers like don't make him look nearly as bad as we were hoping it would.
Right. He doesn't get flustered by this because he's been dealing with this for so long. So, that was great. It looks like we lost Matthew. Hopefully Matthew will rejoin. But
He suffered.
he's yet to mark his internet connection. So Blake, we're up to you. What is Magnus's success look like here?
I think he's sort of, suggesting ideas to people on different channels and watching all the screens, because he's remote piloting the hydrofoil. He's kind of has to swerve it away from where they're trying to fire at the back to slow it down. And then INR goes overboard, so he sort of slows it down and steers it towards him, so he can jump on. And
Yep.
and it's not a quick grid away. It's a bit of a mess, but most of our crew get saved and manage to get away.
Yeah, I think your ability to kind of see the whole picture allows you to navigate around some of these kind of mishaps. So you're somehow you're like the voice of reason in everybody's ear, and you get them all in the hydrofoil, and you use your remote control to get the hydrofoil going in the right direction. I think Inga is positioned well enough where she maybe takes some damage from the goons, but is able to kind of get Jeff Webb into the hydrofoil. So you've acquired your asset here. So I'm going to end us on a cliffhanger. Unfortunately, Blake and Mike, you can't join us next week, unless you want to cancel your trophy gold game. But my thought is that it turns out that the U.S. government is, let's not make it the U.S. government. Some government, maybe if Matthew were here, he could recommend some government from, say, Southeast Asia is also pursuing Webb. And so as you are like rushing him off in a hydrofoil, you are now being pursued by government agents from Thailand, say,
Yep.
who are also.
I volunteered to get shot getting Webb onto the boat. Bring it on.
So that is the contest that we will deal with when we reconvene next week. So with that, I will bring our session to a close. But I would love some stars and wishes to the extent that you all are prepared to give that. And since this is essentially the first time I've run this playset, I would love some feedback. So Blake, do you mind if I start with you?
I mean, it starts everyone playing a sort of range of characters. It's in a lot of games we would all be the strike team, but we didn't do that. We're like, no, we've got different roles to play, and like combat wise, Anna was bloody useless, but but it wasn't that sort of game. It wasn't we are Delta Force. So it's no, we've got different roles. We do different things, and that's cool. It's much more diverse range of stories we can do because of that. So that's cool. System wise, for an indie game, it's quite clunky for my first go at it. But I guess I'm used to things like the Fall of Magic, where it's like you've got 2 stats, off you go.
Right.
So, yeah, I like it, but there's a lot more crunch than I thought there would be. But yeah.
I've taught this system now a bunch of times. Darren's watched me walk people through this a bunch of times, and I just feel like it does not get smoother each time. I mean, when I was running this for my home group, we ran probably 3 months, and every week I had to explain how to put a dice pool together. It just doesn't quite click, I think. So any other wishes or anything that or any other feedback on the play set?
I don't know, wishes like maybe Webb's like the bad guy in the later Mission Impossible films, where they've got to actually get his knowledge to help against a bigger threat or something. They can't just shoot him in the head and chuck him overboard.
Right. As much as Matthew would like that. Yeah. Cool. Mike, can I come to you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with Blake. I'm going to talk about the system a little bit. This is my first experience with a Paragon system, and I've heard good things about it, and I was absolutely happy to play. I mean, like I said, I bought myself, I
Got it.
disappeared with my background, but I bought myself a copy of the book very recently, and I think it's got I do agree that it's quite a bit crunchier than I thought it was going to be, and the way the dice pool goes, it does seem a bit clunky and a bit intense. It's not, again, I'm used to indie games, your dice mechanics being either really quick um or there being like more of a negotiation around the roll, and that's what takes the time, and then you roll, and then once you roll, you just look at it and it's
Right, you move
cool.
on. Yeah,
But yeah, there's a lot of for an indie game, there's a lot of math. um,
that's good.
which isn't necessarily bad. And I think I do think that this is the kind of game that if I played more of, I think it would get a little easier assembling
Yeah.
the pools. As for the playset, I thought it was really cool. I love the premise. I think we improvised a really cool team with really interesting responsibilities. I think the scenario that you put together was pretty cool and exciting, and I really had a lot of fun with it.
Great. I'm so
Um, I do like the I guess this is about the Paragon system. I do like how it's vignette based, and you set everything up, you roll the dice, and then you narrate, and then you narrate the conclusion. And
Yeah.
I think that's a cool way to do it.
yeah, I completely
It's
agree.
it's just that there's an awful lot of dice.
Yes. What I completely agree. Yeah. I worry that it felt clunky to you guys just because of how I was explaining it, or like maybe I don't get the rules exactly right. But I also think that one of the strengths of the game is that it's vignette based. That's basically which we did 2 roles the whole game, and yet we told so much story. So, any other thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, wishes I would love to be able to join next week. I don't think I'm going to be able to, because
No.
I'm really curious to what this, I'm really curious as to what's going to happen next to these characters. But yeah, this is a whole lot of fun.
Cool.
I guess my other wish is I'd love to give one of these games another go at some point.
Yeah.
I'm just going to back up about the premise of the game. Yeah, I like it. It's not just your government's told you to do this, or you've been paid a shitload of money. It's like, no, this guy's a scumbag, and he's made the whole frigging planet worse. So it's got a good sort of emotional weight to it. I quite like the premise.
Good, thank you.
I was talking to a friend on Discord, and I was telling him, like, oh, I'm playing today. And he's like, oh, so what are you doing today? And I said, well, I want to behead a billionaire. And while I didn't behead a billionaire today, the fact that was on the table was just like, he was like, oh man, that sounds cool. Why aren't there more settings where you could possibly behead a billionaire?
Yes.
And I was telling him, like, because he's played more traditional systems, but, he's becoming aware of what I'm playing lately. I said, yeah, most of your conventional games, you got to get through 3 to 10 combat encounters to get to make any meaningful progress towards your desire to kill a billionaire. But nope, here we're just dropping in,
going right in.
Yeah,
Matthew, I'm
and
sorry.
it's one die roll. It's not a skill challenge to get all the way down.
Matthew, I'm sorry you missed our end. We kind of narrated the end. Basically, we decided that the cliffhanger that I left you on is you're all fleeing on the hydrofoil thanks to Magnus's excellent work directing everybody despite all the chaos. You've got Jeff Webb in hand, and you should correct me if I've got this wrong, but I imagine that maybe the Thailand government is also after Jeff Webb, and so they have sent their equivalent of the CIA or something after you. So now you are sort of, your crew is dealing with this other government agency who's come to
they have to appoint. They have to get a private military contractors type company to handle that, and they have to appoint Mabuduke Armstrong as, head of the strike force.
Perfect.
That's
Yeah.
what I needed.
That's what you're dealing with.
Oh, who's that?
That's the bounty hunter who was after me before I fell off the internet.
Oh, okay.
Character.
Sorry.
Not you, really. Yeah. Blake and Mike, thank you so much for jumping in this game at the last minute. It just made me feel really good, and just made me feel so great about the gauntlet. Just the fact that I could post something and literally 2 minutes later, I've got twice the number of players. So thanks guys for jumping in. I really do appreciate
Absolutely happy to. This is fun.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was,
fortuitous because our game collapsed.
it. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That sucks.
Oh,
I hate it when that happens. I'm glad you were available to join us. So we are in the middle of Stars and Wishes. So Darren, I think it was up to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was definitely great to have two players show up, and it was great meeting you, Blake. Let me think also. I really like the setting a lot. I feel like I need to read more about it. That's probably my favorite thing about this game. Also, I think you do a good job of explaining Paragon. We had the same issues in my home group where we had somebody who was walking us through it, and it was still it was, depending on the player, it was more difficult. I used to play villains and vigilantes, so the concept of too much math is that just broke me of that. There's like square roots and order of operations and oh no, wait, that's Traveler. I'm sorry. There's a lot of order of operations and villains and like parentheticals and stuff. I don't know. Let's see. Wishes. I feel like I was a little flat with this character. So I don't know. I feel like that could have been better. I mean, I definitely feel like this could the whole like mixing in with the other country and agency could be really interesting. Trying to think of what else. I did like it in Chamber when you gave us one advance to start with, because
Yes.
like this game, like the difficulties are can be really hard for a base character. That's I don't know. That's my opinion. Also, I think if you had like an Under the Sea background, Mike and Blake have the On the Sea. If you had like an Under the Sea, that would be awesome. And finally, if Mike's gonna play vampire, he needs to get a cape. That was my other thought. So that's it for me.
I haven't played vampire since the 90s, so anyway.
Go to Hot Topic.
There was a range of things you needed to get off your chest, Darren, and I really appreciate your sharing all of those with us. That was fantastic. Matthew, bring us on. Stars and Wishes.
I feel like I've done every single star and wish with you over the past like 3 months. So I'm just gonna keep it simple, which is that I quote every time. I really love the setting. I love it. I love it. I love it. Which is like I said, it's the only place where the possibility of executing billionaires is on the horizon. Which is I would love to explore the setting more. I hope more people if somebody else decides to start running this particular brand of Aegon. It would definitely be a priority for me. I think at a later date or whatever, maybe I'll start thinking in my head like how what the mechanics can explore. But I think you guys already went over the past 10 minutes. But yeah, just like give me more, give me Rising Tide, give me the Art of Rising Tide book, the the making of book, all that stuff. I'm just gonna eat that up, and it's gotten me thinking that if ever I make an Aegon hack, I have to resist the temptation for diversity's sake to not just be all like, what if you took the world of Rising Tide and started like coloring all the spaces in, what I mean? Like I'm gonna start thinking like that is my temptation because as I've invented so much crap in this game, during our past few sessions, like I'm gonna start putting I'm gonna start putting the Mueller Hashimoto Corporation. I'm gonna start putting like all of this
That's so
stuff.
good.
Like this
Yeah,
is
we
the
need.
milieu I love.
Well, we should. I would love to write some more islands or missions. Like
Nice.
we should do that. I would love to collaborate with you on that if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Spending
And
some
I,
time.
I can see a ton of different system hacks for this setting.
Yes. Well, I mean, as I said, this is my white whale game. I did a version of this for Cortex like 5 years ago when I first
Nice.
started thinking, when I first got back into RPGs. I tried a PBTA flavor of it. And I think I might have even tried a Blades in the Dark, a Forge in the Dark flavor of it. And then I started playing Paragon. I was like, well, let me just try. And it just,
yeah.
the game wrote itself, which,
Yeah, I think it really should. Like everybody talks about on the different design communities about, oh, you can do a hack of this or a hack of that to approach the setting that you like or the setting that inspires you or the setting you saw on TV. But I really think you've nailed on some gold here right now in taking this milieu and also like, going full Aegon. And I think, again, you are the boss of the setting. I think it would be a mistake to try to like pivot away from like the AGUT design, and I can already see like the imaginary forward. Sorry, I'm an editor by trade. I can already see the imaginary forward or introduction. That's just like the whole point of this game is to imaginate the possibility of not necessarily radical change, but confronting like villains and demons that we know to be actually evil. And instead of spending, like I said, 3 to 10 encounters doing it, we do it in vignettes. We do it,
Yeah.
fast and quick and dirty, and live that fantasy, and smoke that eco-terrorist blunt all the way to the end.
Oh, and I was thinking about more like other people, like not Dan, but people could take this setting and kind of like,
oh,
you
yeah.
know, like
Yeah,
stick their
yeah.
favorite system into it or whatever. Wait, that
Yeah,
phrasing
Yeah,
is right.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I've started writing or trying to develop a better, I guess, like take what I don't like about the system and make a system that's uses the same sort of ideas but streamlines the dice pooling mechanic. So I'm using Ghostbusters as my premise for that game.
sweet.
D6 one.
No, I mean it does use D6s, but yeah, not necessarily. All right, friends. Thank you so much again. This was great. Darren and Matthew, I look forward to seeing you all next week. Blake and Mike, I'm sorry that I will not, but good luck in your game. And is everyone okay with me posting this recording so my mom can see it?
Sound good.
The power
Absolutely.
is yours, Dan. The power
Fantastic.
is yours.
All right, friends. Thanks so much. Have good evenings.
Have a good
Thanks for
one.
running. This was a lot of fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Good. Thanks, guys. Take care.